All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. And in this video, going to follow up on a topic in a video that I did earlier, which was around some issues in boxing related to cheating and some betting patterns around Errol, Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford. I wanted to do a follow-up video on that. Let's discuss what the next steps into the investigation into these very odd, some people are calling them poisonings, going on in the sport of boxing. Let's talk about that in this video. Several years ago, I got a call from a very prominent person in boxing. And they called me on the phone and they said, man, they set Anthony Joshua up. They set him up, they set him up, they set him up. And I was like, what do you mean they set him up? This was right after the fight between Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz. And this person said, no, they set him up, they set him up, they set him up. Anthony Joshua was not right. Anthony Joshua walked out of his locker room and he was screaming at the top of his lung like he was freaking out. They didn't want to let him out. They delayed him coming out. Then he comes up into the ring and you can see that he's like trying to get his bearings straight. He was just all messed up. And then he has a fight with Andy Ruiz, and he winds up getting stopped by Andy Ruiz, who's a journeyman. I mean, Andy Ruiz is a journeyman. He was a guy that was a good fighter, but he's not a big puncher. As you can see, he hadn't done anything of note since that fight. He hadn't done anything of note before that fight. He was a last-minute replacement for Jarrell Big Baby Miller. Nobody expected him to do with anything with with Anthony Joshua. But out of the blue, a whole bunch of gamblers in New York and in New Jersey make a ton of money off this fight because they bet on Andy Ruiz. So I get a call, like I said, and the person's like, they set him up, they set him up, they set him up, they set him up. Fast forward, and then we get another fight in a heavyweight division. This time it is Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury in the second fight. And the same people say they set him up, they set him up, they set him up, they set him up. He doesn't know where he is. He was confused coming out of the locker room. He didn't know why his legs were gone. He didn't know why he felt the way that he felt. And he came out like a zombie and fought like a zombie and was hurt very, very badly in a fight with Tyson Fury, who all of a sudden turns into this major killer. Now, Tyson Fury ain't been a major killer since then, and he wasn't a major killer before that. Let me get this right. He wasn't a major killer before that, and he's not been a major killer after that. But that night, he had the power of Hercules. Again, accusations come from Deontay Wilder when Deontay Wilder's enforcing his rematch clause for the third fight. And he goes to court, and I'm telling you, I've heard this straight from Deontay Wilder's team. They said, we have the evidence that there was something in my system. Who is Bob Arum, Tyson Fury, tried to sue him, Deontay Wilder, for defamation. The evidence was looked at by the judge that was overseeing, and they said there is no defamation here because he has proof. You can say that you don't like his proof, but it's right there on a piece of paper. It came out in his toxicology report. Well, did he take it himself? Did somebody else give it to him? We don't know. We can't connect that to the fight, but we do know this, that it was in his system. Therefore, it's not defamation because truth is a defense to defamation claims. So the fight continued and it moved on. Then we go to the third major incident like this. Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford, where Errol Spence comes out with his eyes puffy like he has been sitting in a room inhaling what do you call them? Cannabis oids, whatever the word is for that. Like he's been sitting there engaging in some puffery for hours and hours and hours before the fight. Gervonta Davis said, man, he's H-I-G-H. He's H-I-G-H. Man, he looks H-I-G-H. He gets in there and he looks like he doesn't know where he is. That's 3 times in 3 major fights with crazy betting patterns where people that are putting money on this are claiming that people are putting stuff in people's crazy. And I do believe one was in New York and 2 of these fights were in Vegas. Once in New York, Anthony Joshua, twice in Las Vegas. One for Deontay Wilder and one for Errol Spence. And crazy betting patterns around it. So, what is going on? There are notes being written to the Association of Boxing Commissions to investigate this and to take their role in overseeing boxing much more seriously. Unless the government is involved with the protection of fighters, there's going to be problems. Gambling is so prevalent that you make way more money on the gambling than you make on the ticket sales, way more money on the gambling than you make on the pay-per-view sales. So there are people that are really willing to blow away all of the pay-per-views. They don't care about that. They don't care about the ticket sales. They just care about the gambling. And when you see people coming into fights looking as if they're drugged, who have injuries that are unreported. And I'm telling you, my understanding is that some injuries for fighters that are on the lower level are actually caused in sparring, where you have people that are paid to get into sparring matches with people with loaded gloves. Now, if you don't believe me, please remember the accusations that were made against Tyson Fury by one of his sparring partners several years ago, where they said that Tyson Fury, this is not me saying it, it's what he said, actually practiced fighting with gloves that didn't have any padding in it. Actually practiced fighting with gloves that had little egg weights in it. And that he was practicing fighting like that so that he could get in the ring and fight like that. You also have instances of Terence Crawford fighting David Avanesyan with gloves that are literally gloves that are ripped open, that explode on camera, and yet there's still no investigation by the Association of Boxing Commissions. There has got to be greater boxing. There's got to be greater government accountability for the dangers that are being put forth the dangers that are being presented to boxers. And the financial dangers that are being presented to the people that are gambling on these fights. The Association of Boxing Commissions have to investigate these things. And the states of New York City and the state of New York and Las Vegas need to do a better job of investigating these things themselves, which means that they have to charge more money to boxing promoters in order to be able to afford the oversight necessary to make this stuff a clean sport and where people can gamble and know that if they gamble, they're gambling on something that they are fully informed of. That's a responsibility of the Association of Boxing Commissions, and they have to enforce that upon the sanctioning bodies. And if the WBA is part of it, the WBC is part of it, the IBF's part of it, the WBO's part of it, if there's any funny business being reported by boxers directly to the Association of Boxing Commissions, they need to launch a full investigation into those sanctioning bodies and into those promoters for the benefit of the fighters and the benefit of the people that are gambling on these fights in Las Vegas and New York, where I do believe gambling is legal. But if gambling is going to be legal in New Jersey, or gambling is going to be legal in not Las Vegas, then they have to do the job that they have to do to protect the people that are investing their money in New York City and in Las Vegas through the taxes that you're pulling off that gambling. And you cannot continue to let people get in the ring drunk, and they didn't even know it. Somebody just sprays something on their chair or something, or they're sipping water and it hits them through their water. No, complete toxicology reports on these fighters so that you can protect the integrity of the gambling and protect the safety of the fighter. Otherwise, what good does the Association of Boxing Commissions do? What good is the New York State Athletic Commission? What good is the Nevada State Athletic Commission or the Texas Combat Authority if you're not going to pay for the protection of these fighters? And then you get through the tax revenue of the gambling, everything that you put out in protecting those fighters. And you won't have people shying away from gambling because they think that some bozos in New York can pour some NyQuil in somebody's water or some asthma medicine in somebody's Red Bull, pop them dirty, and disrupt the whole fight just so they can win gambling money that they set up. It's got to be changed. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.